More like Bumblebee.
Hey, what's up my peoples? EmGo here, the freaking geek himself, and today we will be reviewing the collection space, Little Bee. So here we are, and there she is, and first and foremost, as always, we'll take a quick look at the packaging right up front here. We have a nice little piece of artwork of Little Bee. Her name is Little Bee. The least likely is the safest. Really though? Really? No. A little shipping damage there on that corner. On this side we have Little Bee and a rundown of the accessories. On this side, Little Bee, again, rundown of accessories. Up top, Little Bee. On the bottom, nothing. On the back of the box, we have some obligatory product shots, some other rundowns of things that are in the box. And I'm assuming that means warning, don't eat anything in this box that could be very bad for you. And that's basically it for the packaging. And moving right along, here we have Little Bee, and this is Collection Space's take on a fembot version of Bumblebee. And yeah, here she is in her robot mode. She is packed in robot mode. And as you can see, I already have the stand plugged into her because she has a lot of stuff on her back, and it makes her quite back heavy, and she can stand on her own. It just takes a lot of doing. It takes a lot of proper balance and weight distribution, and I just don't feel like dealing with all of that, so I just had to stand. Just makes life a lot easier. But let's get in close here so we can take a look, not at the Bumble crotch, eyes up here at the Bumble noggin. So we can see, hey, very nice head sculpt there. You got like a nice blue chrome there for the eyes. I love that because it really makes those eyes pop. Looks real good. And we can take a look at all the other detail here. Just the typical just yellow and black paint scheme. That is Bumblebee. We do have some tamper-graphed details here and there as well. Got some little tamper-graphed details there on the hips, going down the thighs. Some nice coloration there on the knees. Got the high heels, because of course high heels. Has to have high heels. And you can see just all of the car. This is like 95% of the car on her back. It is just all folded up on there. So yeah, very much a shell former, but you know, it is what it is. How are you going to make this form factor turn into a Volkswagen? Not possible. So yeah, shell forming is pretty much the only way to go about that, but still a nice looking, a nice Little Bee. Now, articulation-wise, what have we got? I'm gonna tell you. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take this off. See, the one good thing about this figure is if you don't like the backpack, you can just take it right off. Granted, this clip does not hold in very well at all. It's not a good clip, but you can take this off. You can take this piece off also, but it doesn't really get too much in the way, so I'll leave that on there. But anyway, now we can manipulate her a bit better. But articulation-wise, the head is on the ball joint, so you have all kinds of wiggly-waggly. The neck is on a hinge that moves forward and back, so you can get some so you can do all kinds of that. She can look up, do total squirrel. Can't look down. What are those? Head can do a full 360. Arms can do a full 360. They can move in and out. The shoulder pad you can see is on a hinge there. You do have kind of a double joint in here. It's more for transformation, but still you can use it to get the arms in front of her chest if you need to. So that's nice. You do have bicep rotation. You have a double jointed elbow. The wrists are on a ball joint. So you do have your rotation, your wiggly waggly. The upper torso can move side to side. You get some crunchage. You get rotation out of that. She does have a actual waist joint in here, but it doesn't move too much. You just get some kind of forward and back there on the abs. You can move this little skirt panel out of the way if you need to. Legs can move forward about that far, back. There's a lot of junk back there. She has a lot of junk in her trunk, but back that far if you have all the junks in there. Outward, you can get the full splits. These hips can also shift forward. Oh, you also have this joint here. It's more for transformation, but you know, hey, a thing that moves if you need it to move. But you also have this hinge just like right at the top of the hip there. It allows the hips to kind of shift forward some, so I can give you some extra range of movement there. On the legs, you do have thigh rotation. You have a double jointed knee, but this wheel can kind of get in the way there, but you can always kind of shift that out of the way to get that extra bit of range of movement. The knee pad is on a double joint. because reasons. As far as the feet, they can rotate, they can move up and down. You do have ankle tiltage, and even the heel here is on a double hinge. Again, that's more for transformation, but hey, if it helps to support in some posing, you can use it. Now, as far as accessories go, we do get a pair of Bumble blasters, and some nice looking blasters, I will say. I do quite dig the design. Got that blue there on the barrel, a little bit of blue there, yellow. Quite nice. I like these blasters. So you get that. You also get a little Bumble shield. It's done in black with the yellow and that metallic blue. See a little handle there. That's on a hinge. So you can angle that however you want. So you get a little shield. We also get optional hands. We get a pair of blaster holding hands, weapon holding hands. We get a pair of peace hands, peace, and we get a pair of splayed out hands. These are actually the hands she comes packed with, but I put the closed fists on her because I just think those are better, just as far as like this for kind of a neutral pose. But you get the splayed out hands also, and we do get some optional faces. So we get this one here, which they call the laughing face. Just got a smiling face there. We get this one here, which they call the roar face. She's roaring. It's a roaring bee. And then we get this one, which they call the grimace face, which is she just sticking her tongue out. So that is everything you get with me, along with the display stand, of course. And the cool thing about the display stand, and I love it when display stands do this, is it does have a little drawer you can open up, and you can store all of your accessories in there, which is quite nice, and I do always appreciate some good storage here. You can even fit the shield in there as well. You just have to kind of make sure you get around the hinge there, but you can fit everything in there, and voila, there you have your storage. Hooray for storage! And of course, you can wield her blasters and her tiny shield, but that's not going to do anything. But hey, things you can do if you want to do it. You can plug the Bumble blasters into the shield and make a whole new weapon out of that, so that makes that a lot more useful. Now, as far as swapping the faces, first thing you need to do is just kind of pop off her forehead here, and then you can just kind of get under her chin here. You may need a tool just to kind of pry the face off, and then put on whatever face you want. We're going to have her smiling. Pop the head crest back on, and there you go. Now she is a happy little bee. So there you have that, and now for comparison. Here she is with the, this is the Elita 1 version of the Nice mold. Just so you can see how that works out. With the Bingo Toys Windblade. Here she is with Masterpiece Bumblebee. Just because. And just because, here she is with the Bishojo Bumblebee. Just so you can see how that works out. And if you'd like a measurement to the top of her head, Little Bee comes in at 6 3/4 inches tall. So, there you go. So that is basically it for the robot mode, and it looks pretty good. Again, you know, yeah, there's a lot of junk just hanging off of her, but again, like, how else were you going to do this transformation practically? It wasn't going to work any other way. But thankfully, you can remove all this stuff if you don't want it. Again, all this just comes right off, so you can have a clean robot mode. If you want, totally up to you what you want to do. As always, your toy display it however you wish. But still, a good-looking Little Bee here. But let's get down to transformation, shall we? Let's. So the first thing you want to do really is take this whole backpack and just take it off. You can leave it on, but you don't want to. You really don't want to. It's going to fall off anyway, and it's just in the way. So makes life a lot easier. Just take it off, put that off to the side. And now we can work on what is left here. So first, we're going to do some butt work. So we're going to take this section here. It's just going to unclip, and we're going to bring that down. These headlight sections here on double hinge, just kind of bring them forward so they're sitting flush. Then you can take these bumper sections and rotate them up. These sections here, you can just kind of swing them up and get them out of your way. And now we want to take this section here and we want to rotate this 180. And then we want to take this front section and rotate this 180. And we're just going to leave that like that for now. Now we want to take our arms, we want to bring them back. Again, they're on a double hinge, so bring all those hinges back. Bring that arm all the way back using all those hinges. Then we're going to rotate the arm and then bend the arm all the way up. Just kind of rotate the fist in, just kind of tuck it down like that. And do the same thing here, second verse just like the first. Just bring all that around, rotate, and just get those arms back like that. So now we're going to start working on the lower body. So you want to bring these little skirt pieces up, just to kind of get them out of the way. So what you want to, this is where my tongue stops working. What you want to do with the hips is you want to take them and shift them forward on that top hinge there. So shift the hip forward, and then you want to bring the hip out. Basically, like kind of like at a 45-degree angle. I've seen people like bring it up all the way up to 90 degrees, but if you do that, then things do not line up into car mode at all. So you don't want them at 90 degrees. You want them more like kind of like a 45-degree angle, right about there, like the halfway point. So same thing on the other side. Just bring the hip forward and then just shift that out. Again, don't shift it out all the way. Just about there is as far as you need. And now you're going to take this little panel here, open it up. That will allow you to take this wheel and rotate that down. It'll swoop into place. Then you just open up the wheel and squeeze it together. There you have a wheel all done. Second verse just like the first. Just open that up, bring that down, unfold that wheel, and then just push it together. So now what's going to happen here is we want to take the heel and just shift that down like so. Take this section and bring that down. We also want to take the foot. We want to rotate it in like so. We have this calf piece here that you want to bring up. You want to rotate it in. And now we're going to just completely fold the leg up. And this piece will end up going into the thigh here. So just get that lined up. And drop all of that down. So it is sitting like that, and then you want to take this section of her shin. It's on a double hinge, just kind of pop it up. You want to pop it up and just shift it forward like that. That's how you want that looking, and second verse is just like the first. Now once we have the other side done, now you want to take this whole central assembly here and just flatten all of this out. Then we can take these panels, bring them down, and they will just tab in on either side. Just bring that down and bring that down and just clip that in. So now we're going to start working on all of this here. So we're going to start with the tail light section. Now first thing we want to do is we want to take this silver section here, just untab that, just free that up. So now we're going to start working on this. So you want to take this section, you can bring this out and just rotate it up. So you then have the clearance to take this black panel here and fold that down. Once you've done that, you can rotate this the rest of the way around, line that up, bring that bumper down, and it will slide in so it seats in a little notch right there. And once we have done that, we can work on this section here. So you just kind of bring this out, get this out of the way. We have a black panel here. You want to rotate all the way down. You have this section here. You want to untab. Just pop this out. That will allow you to take all this and bring it up. It's on multiple hinges there, so just kind of free it up. Take this section, flip that out, and you want to take this windshield section and use those hinges there at your disposal to bring that up and get that sitting nice and flush and lined up right there like that. At this point now, you can take all this and rotate it up. Now we have this section here. As you can see, this bit is rubber. It's a little rubber bit, which is kind of weird, but it is. And you want to take this and you want to slide this up. So slide that up so it's sitting in that position there. So what you're going to do now is you're just going to flip this up, and this tab right here will go into this notch right there. So flip that up and get that seated in that notch. Once you've done that, you can take this, bring this up and over, tab slot connection right here, and you just bring that down, and we got that all done. Now you can take this fender section here, and to get this lined up, you basically want to bring it in at an angle, bring it in like that, and then rotate it up, and then you'll get all that sitting nice and flush. And once you have done that, you can take all this and rotate it up. It will tab in right here, and it's also tab in right up here as well. So you can just get that lined up and get that popped in. And there you have that side all done, and second verse is just like the first. And there we have both sides done. Now, one thing to note is that this armature here does have to be in a specific position. If we're looking at it from this vantage point, from the bottom, you want that clip facing down, and you want these hinges angled down. That is the correct orientation. But once we have that done, now we can just take the two halves and just clip all this together, and as you can see, we pretty much have most of the car here. At this point now, we can merge the two halves together. You can turn her head around if you want to. You don't have to, but you can if you want to. But we're going to take a little bit here and basically just kind of tuck her in to the shell. Now, you don't have to worry too much about engaging that clip because we're gonna lock her in here. So once you get her in a place where everything is kind of sitting together, we can start closing up these panels. So these panels right here, they're on a double hinge, so make sure they stay up. So rotate that in and rotate that in. And what's going to happen here is these panels are basically going to sit kind of under her row boobs here. So that's where you want that, and then these two panels will come together and interlock. And you just get that all nice and squozen, and again, you just kind of push her up, and I mean, legit, you want her row boobs just kind of poking out of that opening there. That is the proper orientation, and you have that going on. Now, this is the part that can get pretty fiddly, is just getting all of this together here. So you have a tab slot connection that's going to happen here, a tab slot connection that's going to happen right here. It's totally doable, but again, it involves some fiddle factor, and sometimes these legs also don't want to cooperate, so it's just kind of like, you just kind of get it together as best you can. And try to get everything seated. And again, like I said, these legs are kind of, the legs are going to kind of not help either. And again, I'm still not entirely sure how these legs are supposed to sit. I know they're not supposed to be at 90 degrees because that, you can see the hips just kind of bump up right against this here. So it's definitely not a 90-degree thing. So it's just kind of like, you just have to kind of find like a sweet spot for them to sit. And there's like a little tab that kind of goes in the leg also, like up in here, but even that's kind of impossible. It's like almost impossible to kind of get that going in. So it's just kind of, yeah, it's a bit of a chore. All right, and there we go. After much fiddling, that's pretty much how you got that looking. The leg position is just, I don't know, it just seems to be the most temperamental thing. Again, the instructions are not clear at all about exactly how to have these legs positioned, so I think that's the best way to go about it. Just kind of have them like that. Another thing we can do here is we can bring in the shield, and the shield has a tab right there that will go into a slot right here in these two panels. So you can take this and drop that in, and then there are two posts and two ports right here, so you can take that and drop that in, and that will just kind of finish off cleaning up that underside. And there you go. There you have Little Bee in her alt. Oh, you can't really get a good spin out of her. But there she is in alt mode. And it's a very Bumblebee alt mode. The transformation for the most part is pretty easy. It's just getting this whole front section together. That is where all the fiddliness comes in, unfortunately. But once you get it all together, once you do all the fiddling, it actually comes together pretty well. It's just a bit of a chore to get all that lined up. But all in all, not too shabby. Let's get in close here so we can take a look at those details. You got the nice front silver bumper. You got the metallic blue for the headlights. Little transclearance red lights up top. You can see the windshields and the windows done in a metallic blue. See the rims done in silver here. Silver for the side view mirrors. Little door handle. Oh no, very simple buggy design here. We got those transparent tail lights, that rear bumper. There is the top, there is the bottom. You do have visible row boob syndrome. Yeah. But it does cover everything else. Cover up everything else quite nicely. She can roll for the most part. These three wheels can roll quite well. This back wheel right here tends to get a little stuck. So you don't get the smoothest roll because of this one back wheel here, but you can get a decent roll out of her, as rolling things should. And for comparison, here it is with MP44. This is the only comparison we're going to do here, because let's be real, who's buying this for the alt mode? I mean really, like a handful of people, maybe? But just to give you that sense of size of her in alt mode. So there you go. Now, as far as the little Bumble Blasters go, you can store them in the alt mode. If you open up these panels, there is a little angled slot right in there. And you want to put the guns in with the handle facing up or facing down, depending on how you're looking at it. But you just take it and tab that into the side and close all this back up. And you can see it kind of serves as little exhaust pipes there. And there you have your weapon storage. So there you have Little Bee, and yeah, she's a decent figure. Decent, not horrible, but not great either. Just very, very middle of the road. The robot mode looks really good. Again, she does have a lot of, car just kind of hanging off of her, but you can remove all that if you want to. I would definitely recommend using the stand for displaying. The alt mode is a Bumblebee alt mode. I mean, it looks the way it's supposed to look. The transformation, she's a total shell former, but again, it has to be. The transformation does work well for the most part, but getting that whole front section of the car together, that can be quite fiddly. Some pretty high fiddle factor there. So again, not a horrible figure, not a great figure, it's just okay for me. So there you go. Now I picked this up from TF Safari. I'll put a link to their site in the description down below so you can check that out. And if you use the promo code 2022 EmGo Review at checkout, you will get a discount on your order. You can also check out the third-party Transformers playlist for any reviews you may have missed. Also linked in the description down below so you can check that out as well. And I think that's it. So don't forget to check out EmGames, check out Love, Peace, Paranormal, follow me on Twitter, all of that good stuff down in the description below. And I think that's pretty much all there is to say. So there is the Collection Space Little Bee. And this is EmGo saying, remember, you don't stop playing because you grow old because you stop playing. Be geek, be proud, palm in your face. Listen, Prime, I know I'm not your favorite, but come on, you can't get rid of me. I'm the Bumble Man. I am irreplaceable. And you're replaced. Well, that was a lot easier than I thought.